Today we will talk about three types of short-run roll label printers, which are inkjet using Memjet technology, bidirectional inkjet printers, mainly Epson, laser printers. First came across Memjet in 2011. Lenovo also launched an office printer in China back then. Memjet is also known as waterfall or one-pass printing. The print head is fixed and the media moves forward continuously. The print head has 70,000 nozzles, enabling very high speed, up to 18 meters per minute. But there are a lot of cons, because it has 70,000 nozzles and one-pass printing. So even if few nozzles failed, print result will be affected and you will notice it for sure. Fixed width is around 220 mm, which is acceptable, but the printer is using water-based ink and usually the ink is encrypted. So the ink cost is high, and for media you will need a coated media, which is also expensive compared to the normal stickers. Although water-based ink is usually not waterproof, but since commercial labels usually they will be laminated, so that depends on how you approach it. Second type, bidirectional inkjet, usually based on Epson. Unlike Memjet's fixed head, Epson-based printers use a moving head that travels left and right. Their printers stitch Epson heads for one-pass printer, but we won't focus on them because of the price. It's super expensive. The bidirectional inkjet will result in much slower speed. For instance, the speed of Workforce series, which is pretty fast, can only reach 1.2 meters per minute. However, because of the back and forth motion, the final output can remain usable even if some nozzles are not in perfect condition. Pros for this type: usually the printer itself is cheap. For ink, you can use bulk ink supply, which is also cheap. And for different printers, you can use water-based, even sublimation ink for t-shirt, aquasolvent ink for outdoor, and UV ink for crystal labels. And for cons, it's pretty slow even for Epson's own roll printer, like C6000, etc. If we focused on label printers, still it will use water-based ink, either pigment or dye. If you contact it with water, even with special media, it is still not that ideal. It also requires media with water-based coating, so the media itself will also be expensive. Kind of like the Memjet, except it's much slower, but also much cheaper, ink much cheaper. Third type of printer, the roll laser printer. 9 out of 10, they are modified based on sheet printers. Usually they will be fast, like 5 meters to 7 meters per minute. And also all consumables are now made in China, which means the price will be transparent and affordable. And unlike inkjet printer, it can print on a lot uncoated media, which means the media itself is much cheaper. Cons of roll laser printer: it has drum belt. If there is one part has been damaged, then it works something like waterfall technology. The defect will also appear on paper. And because LaserJet needs a fuser, so even the temperature of fuser is around 120 degrees, still it cannot print on BOPP film, etc. And because it uses a toner, so right away the color will be darker and not as vivid as bright as inkjet printers. So which one is better? The answer is quite easy. What is the purpose of purchasing? Are you gonna use it to solve your problem? Because at this moment, it is not designed to replace your offset printers. And what is the budget? Both the budget on the printer itself and the consumable parts. And lastly, buy it from a reliable provider with proper aftersale. That's it for me today. I will see you in the next one.